Welcome to Friday, TGIF. It's May 17th, 2024. This Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Wyoming State Parks. With temperatures slowly warming across the state, Wyoming State Parks and historic sites are gearing up with a season of fun and educational summer events. Visit these parks' respective Facebook pages for more information on these upcoming events. Well, folks, warm, windy weather as we head on into this Friday. The upcoming weekend is going to, for the most part, be pretty warm and very May-like. We're going to see some shower and thunderstorm activity, but it's going to be kind of spotty today and tomorrow before picking up on Sunday. The windy areas will be in the normal places, the I-80 corridor, along I-25, sections of Interstate 90, where you normally get wind going through what we call the wind-prone areas or the wind gaps. It's going to be windy into Saturday, especially up across Montana and the northern plains. Nothing crazy with the winds, but just a nuisance. It'll be a warm wind, Chinooking winds, and winds coming in from the west-southwest. Now, warmer temperatures will be found in this pattern. We're going to see a little bit of thunderstorm activity Sunday, breaking out along Interstate 80, sections of I-25, and out on into the plains, as we'll start to see Pacific moisture start to creep back on in. As we get into early next week, we do have a storm system that's going to come in, bringing a pocket of colder, moist air into the region. Showers and thunderstorms will be increasing in some areas, and believe it or not, there might be some decent chances of measurable rain, more than a trace or 1/100th of an inch finally across portions of southern Wyoming, northern Colorado, and western Nebraska. Some areas that really need it kind of look like the areas that have the best chance. Believe it or not, hate to say this, but it's going to be cold enough. We're going to see snow levels get pretty low Monday night into early Tuesday. I think staying basically at mountaintop level, but some mountain areas may very well have another shot of spring snow next week, early next week. Now, what does that mean for the upcoming Memorial Day weekend? Well, hopefully the system will be gone and we'll have a chance to see temperatures rebounding by next weekend. I think they will be, but I think we're still far enough away from Memorial Day weekend. We're more than a week out, so we aren't going to be able to nail it down. We'll see what happens, but I think the pattern starts to warm up by late next week and next weekend. What the rain chances will be like, that'll be something we'll have to take a look at as we get a little bit closer. Quick update on the solar activity. It's nothing like it was a week ago, but it's still very active. There have been more solar flares and coronal mass ejections. And you can see there was a bit of a spike as we got into the overnight hours of Wednesday into Thursday morning. And look at this shot here from Lake McConaughey from the very early morning hours of Thursday, May 16th. They came back again, and the sun is still active. So the opportunity for some aurora possible, but certainly we're in a different situation than we were a week ago. Satellite imagery this morning shows a good little swirl up here over Alberta, so you can see where that upper level low is. Clear skies elsewhere, so this is going to mean some warm conditions here. The strong jet stream winds are showing up. You can see it with the clouds coming in right with this, and so that's going to lead to these systems moving across the northern tier. Remember, when the low goes north of you, south of the low is where you're going to get the wind and along its path. So that's exactly what will happen today and into the day on Saturday. These are going to be the windy areas. This is going to be the wind today in terms of where it's going to be the strongest. The winds tomorrow will be strongest up here across North Dakota, southern areas of Canada. Not too bad a wind in Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska here. So this is where it'll be the wind gaps through the Continental Divide areas that are going to be the most windy. But if driving an RV, pulling a trailer today and into Saturday, keep that in mind. Shower and thunderstorm chances are going to be pretty spotty through Saturday. This is for today. This is for tomorrow. Along the path of the low, across North Dakota, Montana, far northern Wyoming, there's going to be some showers and thunderstorms today. The heavier moisture stays up north into Canada. There might be a few strong thunderstorms, though, especially in this yellow area this afternoon and evening as that system goes up north and goes across the northern plains. But elsewhere, the severe weather will be either up there or far south along the Gulf Coast. as we head through the weekend and into early next week, we'll see the next low start to settle on in. High pressure builds up into the eastern Pacific. So that's going to want to make it trophy, bring in some storm systems and low pressure into the west next week. And it first comes in with this low kind of tailing the low going across southern Canada. So this will draw in some moisture. It's also going to allow eventually some colder air aloft to come in behind it. Ahead of this system, Sunday, southwest flow will have a little bit of moisture in it. And on Sunday, we talked about thunderstorms. There's going to be possibly some strong thunderstorms out here across Nebraska, Kansas, eastern Texas Panhandle, and scattered showers and thunderstorms across eastern Wyoming, northern Colorado. So Sunday afternoon and evening, we're going to have some activity with some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Nothing widespread except here where the thunderstorm concentration will be a little bit bigger. By Tuesday, that upper level low is right across northern Colorado, and the winds aloft are now in from the northwest. So now we're bringing in colder air out of northwest Canada. Now, luckily this time of year, that air is not terribly cold, but it's going to be cold enough, as I mentioned, to drop those snow levels. Now, this is where we're going to see better chances of precipitation as we get into Monday, Tuesday, into early Wednesday. You can see across central Wyoming, southeastern Wyoming, parts of northern Colorado, across Nebraska, there's going to be some showers and thunderstorms developing over a 2-day period. So we're hoping this will end up putting something in rain gauges here and across western Nebraska and northeastern Colorado. We're going to have good chances for places like Casper, Lander, Riverton to get into some upslope conditions along the higher terrain, bringing more nice spring moisture there. So you can see there's a little bit more of a southern path with this system than what we've seen lately. Now, I talked about it being cold enough for mountain snow, and if you look at temperature anomalies by Monday, after a warm weekend, well, Monday and Tuesday, well, across the Dakotas up here, across Montana into the interior west, the cold air is coming in from the northwest and settling on in. So temperatures will be falling Monday, and they'll continue to fall into Tuesday. So next week starts off rather cold, rather moist, and yeah, look at the Wind Rivers here. And even the higher elevations of the Laramie Range, Snowy Range, Sierra Madres, Rocky Mountain National Park, Uintas here, the Bighorns, Yellowstone Park. So some late May snow could be in the offing early next week. This should stay at pretty high elevations. Nonetheless, though, expect next week to start off colder and maybe a little damp. Looking at next weekend, we still have this big high pressure ridge in the eastern Pacific, so there's going to be some form of trophiness in the far west. The question will be, will this low stay to the west all weekend or try to move on through? That's why we have question marks. Initially, though, by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we should get into southwest flow again instead of northwest flow. That means we warm up. So by late next week into the Memorial Day weekend, temperatures will moderate. So I think that'll be good news. The question will be whether or not we get a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity ahead of that. And there is some indication that there may be some thunderstorms as we get into Memorial Day weekend, but that is not unusual at all. If it's at least warm or warmer in the mild range there, and we have some afternoon and evening thunderstorms, that's manageable. We don't expect a cold, really cold Memorial Day weekend as it looks right now, but we'll certainly have more to say as we get into Monday and Tuesday of next week. So this is Saturday of next weekend, Sunday of next weekend. That's not a lot of thunderstorm activity, but there's going to be some. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.